Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Heroes of Kriegeland. Today, we are introducing three characters to the storyline, as it were. Three characters that we've seen in the character creation episode in the prologues, so we don't need to get too far into it, but if everyone wants to just go around and give a quick rundown, character's name and what they're all about, and then we'll get into where they are in the world, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So my guy's name is Braxton.
Braxton.
Follower of Braxion.
Yeah. Do we know his original name, or is that kept secret in his heart?
Secret in his heart. It's one of his secret shames.
And when you changed your name to Braxton, your eyes changed color.
That's right.
Which means Braxion was in fact impressed.
Yep.
With your devotion.
My eyes are a pinkish hue now, and I'm a keeper of the arcane flame. And I'm a taller half elf, slight of build, and shocking white blonde hair.
White blonde hair. Yes.
Yes, it's always in a perfect coif down my back.
All right. My guy is Cactus Connor, and he's a ranger, but he's a Thorns of Unessa ranger, so he's one of the special classes. But instead of thorns like you'd find on like a rose, it's like cactus spikes.
Spines. Yeah. It's a deserty twist to the Thorn of Unessa, which I love, and so does Unessa. So that's great.
My guy, his name is Helios. He is a sun dragon monk. He's from the city of Magos. He is 5'6" and 175 pounds, so he's a beefy guy. He's a
thick,
young beefy guy.
You look like you're big and thick and intimidating. This guy's stats makes him actually like meaty and intimidating. The 16s.
And the interesting thing about this guy is he is a pacifist. He took a vow of no fighting, he never wants to hurt another man,
So what extent does that vow, like if someone's attacking him, will he defend himself? If someone's attacking innocents, will he defend them, or is he
He'll get in the way, but he'll try to do everything he can not to lay a fist upon their face.
Okay.
Or other bodily parts.
All right, so we'll have to see, because I'm sure in a world of treacherous fantasy violence, you will be forced into some ultimatums.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the three of you are in very different places at the start here, but you will end in the same place, which is the city of Crestcall. The new king of Kriegeland. I would say the most politically savvy character would likely be Braxton, as he's been staying in Azure Gate, the capital, for a while now. You know that within the year, the king died. The current king, Alroy the First. Alroy the First was a elderly. He made it to about 71 years old, and he died from falling off a horse. Injuries due to falling off of a horse. Alroy the First had a golden era reign. He was a young king when the most famous recent battle, which is known as the Battle of Azure Glass, which is where the Deepwater Kingdom attacked Kriegeland and tried to sack Azure Gate because a rogue high priest of the Deepwater priests gained access to the Tide Rake, which is Cisnia's legendary artifact weapon, and those weapons are like ultra powerful. So the Battle of Azure Glass was where not only Alroy kind of saved the kingdom, but it's also where the start of that's where the Heroes of Kriegeland first made their fame. The Heroes of Kriegeland were a trio of high level adventurers that basically saved the kingdom. Then afterwards, the three of them went and started the settlement of Crestcall on the edge of the frontier and were kind of the defenders of the newly developing territory. But Alroy the First, the king, had a pretty long golden age of prosperity. He was a man of the people. He was chosen to be king he was a knight in the court, and the current king kind of like sideswiped everybody and made an unexpected move to. He called the court in, and he announced that he's renouncing his crown and giving it to who he considered the only person of worth to be king, which was Alroy. So there was lots of political strife at the time when this occurred, but then the Battle of Azure Glass kind of, mitigated those problems. So Alroy the First always had political problems with elites and the ruling class and the nobility, but he was a man of the people, so the common folk loved him. So there was a good several decade era of golden prosperity. The main issue with Alroy the First is that he did not sire a heir until he was 60-ish. Mm-hmm. So when he died, his son Alroy the Second took over, a boy king, the age of 10. So once Alroy the Second became king, his first edict was his first big move was he called upon the people to he's going to set up a tournament he announced that he's going to set up a tournament to announce the new Heroes of Kriegeland, because the only existing member of the Heroes of Kriegeland, Valerio Darkmoon, the wizard, he called upon the king and said that the kingdom is going to need heroes again, and I'd like to train the next generation before I move, pass on. So Alroy the Second has started a large kind of caravan, like the king's caravan has traveled from Azure Gate down the main road along the coast through Magos and Arkal, and he's kind of doing a rounds of the kingdom, getting, talking to people and putting in his things, checking on his kingdom, checking on his lands, while setting up a big establishment kind of celebration in Crestcall that will land on Mathandis Feast. Mathandis Feast is the high summer solstice holiday for the god of light. It's an event where all of the citizenry come together, the church and the nobles and stuff all dedicate a giant feast that's everyone gets to eat for free today, and it's a big township thing. It's celebrated all across the land. That being said, so Braxton, you heard about this. I'm assuming you thought it was a good idea to try to show off your moves and go join the Tournament of Heroes, but you've been following the king's caravan down through the land there. When you guys got to Magos, that's where the announcements hit Helios and his Master Wu.
Mr. Wu.
And Master Wu was looking for an opportunity to help push you in the right direction, because you're a good student, but your rage blackouts are concerning to him. And so he wants you to kind of maybe go off on your own and learn some things that way. So throughout the traveling of the king's caravan, obviously there's followers camps and all sorts of things coming through, and you guys have met a handful of people, and you kind of have talked to whoever, and you ended up getting to Crestcall. Now Connor is on a whole different path. Connor's not even from Kriegeland. Connor comes from the rocky desert wasteland known as Andorok, and Andorok is it's the Wild West, in the sense that there's just small little communities here and there. So you come from I'm guessing just a little human, because you're a human, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you come from just a standard little settlement. There's probably 100 people that all together ever. And you just live in the wilds and whatnot. Now you are on your way to Crestcall, unknowingly. You know not of this tournament of the Heroes of Kriegeland. The reason why you're headed to Crestcall is because you've been on the road now for months, tracking a dark elf that seems hell-bent on journeying deep into Kriegeland. So this stealthy, nomadic, single dark elf was just, he kind of you guys got into a scuffle in the wilds, and then he took off, and you've been tracking him for a long time now, weeks on the road, eating lizards and cactus water and whatnot.
Well-
He's been a very difficult to track. He's a very stealthy like dark elf that seemingly has some sort of mission that's taking him into Kriegeland, and you're either curious or dedicated to stopping him because dark elves are typically no good. So by the time you reach Crestcall, you kind of had no idea what's going on, but it's Mathandis Feast, which happened to be a benefit for you because you've been eating lizards and cactuses, and now there's a giant tent of just unlimited food, essentially. So that's where you find yourself as far as Crestcall goes. That's the biggest problem with being a what's your character's age again?
16.
That's the problem with being a 16-year-old with the absolute physical unit stats of you is you are hungry probably all the time. So you start tearing into some
Eating like a Saiyan.
yeah, you start tearing into some roasts and some things that you've never even flavors you didn't even know existed because so within the township of Crestcall, with a population of just over 1,000, has been invaded. Not by enemy nor monster, but by hordes of travelers of every kind meandering their slow march down the coastline following his high grace, the noble king, Alroy II. For the boy king whose proclamations have gained the attention of many throughout the lands comes the burden of a full military caravan. And where there are scores of page soldiers, there are camps of followers and merchants. As the month-long trek found itself at last at the edge of the frontier, the village of small shops and farmers found themselves surrounded and outnumbered 10 to 1. So as you guys have traveled into Crestcall, you just see there's just people everywhere, follower camps, crazy amounts of people going on.
Yeah, the most people you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Master Wu traveled with you during this excursion because one of the announcements that the king made is that he has commissioned for a display in Crestcall during the tournament, and that display is going to be none other than the Scroll of the Sun, which the Sun Dragons would definitely know what that is, and if not, Master Wu was going to explain it to you. When mankind first appeared, when humans first came to this earth, or the first families were, created and awakened in consciousness, the Scroll of the Sun existed next to them, and on it, it's written in Celestial, but on it is an edict about kind of like building up the land and establishing like peaceful settlements and things like that, and it's kind of like essentially as like the humans' first scripture to tell them what to do, given to them from Mathandis, like as like a thing. So the first structure ever created in the humans, which is far to the east, where Master Wu comes from, is the Tower of the Sun, which is where the Scroll of the Sun is stored. But he's paid for royal guard and caravan to bring it out to present it to Kriegeland, to show it to others. So kind of a museum-esque kind of like artifact transfer. So Master Wu's very excited to see the Scroll of the Sun because it's been since he was like a boy since he saw it, and you've never seen it at all. And since you are thinking about being a sun dragon, it's like this is like a big deal.
Okay.
So he's eating at the tents in the middle of town.
Heck yeah.
You're checking out the Scroll of the Sun, and you are hobnobbing in the main hobnobbers.
Laughing at all the commoners and their dirty clothes.
Yeah. And you're hobnobbing it up in the okay, so there's two taverns in Crestcall. There's the high end one that's in the like noble region, and then there's like the low end one that's in like the commoner region. So the name of the tavern in the high end place is Fleros, which is like it's Elvish for chilies.
Nice.
It's currently operated by Cynthia Darkmoon, who is the granddaughter of Balerio Darkmoon, the hero of Kriegeland itself. So people speculate that they're not sure what if there's an actual family relation or whatever, but apparently she's his granddaughter, and she utilizes that name for fame of her business. So, so now encampments now fill every space of the city. Farmlands have been taken over to house fortified encampments, and the king and his guard reside within the guest rooms of the noble district. Within the town center, a vast sea of canvases stretch over a makeshift feasting hall larger than any built by stone or wood in the known world. The citizens of Kriegeland are at peace, and the prosperity brought forth in the years of Alroy I now rest upon the decisions of a 10-year-old. A 10-year-old that has announced across the land that everyone is to be gathered for the Mathandis Feast and to prepare for royal decree. So, within town, do you guys have any ideas about what you want to, where you're headed, or what you're doing, or anything like that?
I want to see if there's any. So the contest is. People know about that, or is it?
They know there's going to be there's
the
speculation,
okay.
and they know enough that there's going to be some kind of like contest, like word is kind of leaked from like the noble regions and stuff that.
My guy's going to try to get in on some betting action. Like what are some of the over-unders? Like what are we looking at here? What are the money lines? We need to understand how I can get some coin from this.
Yeah.
And so if there's like betting favorites, if there's bookies taking people's money, I want to put my name down for.
So you want to kind of look around.
Yeah.
There's
See
okay.
shady deals going on.
So you try to go to some of the seedier corners of the town. So I would say there's probably there's some people that are talking about specifically, because the hype of the Heroes of Kriegeland tournament is kind of like culminating and building up. There's not a lot of people that are known to for sure gonna try for it, but there is a hometown hero named Monty Rugelfube. He's like a gnomish bard. He's pretty popular in the town, so you hear a little bit about him. Like
Monty.
Yeah, Monty's supposed to be joining in. But if you're gonna go try to search down maybe some competition or do some betting on that, you can kind of check out some things. But the whole town is full of would-be adventurers and all sorts of things, and so it might be hard to. As the tournament goes on, there'll be more information and more opportunity for that kind of stuff. But
okay, all right.
What about you, Connor? Oh, while you're eating, Connor, I want you to roll a perception check.
So is that 20?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anytime you roll a skill check or an attack roll or any of the blanket statement
It's
roll
20.
this, it's always going to be a d20 plus whatever your adds are. So for perception, that's going to be a wisdom-based skill.
Nothing.
And do you have no pluses to wisdom?
Nope.
Okay, and then do you have proficiency in it?
No.
Non-perception, no.
Yes.
Okay, so
I
it's
survived.
just you have a +0 wisdom. Okay, so this is just a straight roll then. Your perception is.
No, isn't
I
it?
can't see.
It's a 14.
Oh, okay.
He has an 8 wisdom, so is that a -1?
It's a -1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 13?
13.
Yeah, so 13, which is still good enough that at one point you're eating, and you kind of look up, and just within the crowd, maybe 20 yards off, you see the face and the cowl, scowl of the dark elf you've been tracking, and then you look, and then you kind of take a set. It's like a second glance, and then he's gone.
Every time.
So he's somewhere he's prowling the streets of Crestcall within the crowds.
Your stomach caused you to lose focus.
That's right.
Every time.
Helios is just going to stay with the scroll.
Okay,
He's not going to let it out of his sight.
So the scroll it's presented in a section of the royal district where there's a whole section of guards and fencing that they've put up.
Oh.
You guys can get through pretty easily. Master Wu is you notice that on the journey throughout the thing, Master Wu would tell, as he often does, he would tell stories at night to the travelers in the camp, and most people started to really like him and stuff. He's like an Eastern man in his 50s,
Okay.
give or take. So still
So pretty young, but
Yeah,
you know.
he's on the end of mentor rather than adventurer, now, but he's just he you could tell his giddiness is and and he goes up to it. Oh, the scroll of the sun, like it has been so many years since I have seen it. So you guys approach, and it looks to be like a single page, made of like a golden type of like leaflet paper. It's behind. It's locked away in like a big, like cast, like a big casing with like a glass cover and all that.
Okay.
Out for presentation, but it's about the size of. It would be about. It's probably like the width of if you had a really big, like, let's say like the size of like a quarterstaff. Or like a walking stick. It would be about that if you like had a pretty thick walking stick and then rolled it out from there. So we're looking like it's a page that's like it's like
Okay.
Like 8 by 6 feet.
Kind of more like a tapestry size.
Yeah, more like like a tapestry sized piece of paper, and it's written in like it's written in celestial script. Do you speak celestial?
I do not.
Okay.
Wait.
I don't know if any of you speak
No,
celestial.
you speak abyssal.
Abyssal, yeah. Which is kind of it uses like the same lettering and stuff, and some of the same like rules as celestial. So you might if you saw the scroll time, you might pick up some bits of it, but it's also like the first celestial script, and so it's like really archaic sounding, even if you know celestial.
Fancy.
It's like it's all fancy.
Ah.
But sure enough,
Shakespeare.
you see all of the like. There's like a troop of like 12 to 16 sun dragons that are all just like standing around it and like doing their like katas and stuff, like just constantly just around it, like doing
Like
stuff.
a dojo.
Yeah, so there's this little like external dojo, and sure enough, the reverence around it is like clear. You can see clerics are coming up and like praying in front of it and stuff like that, like Mathandis clerics and whatnot. So
That's cool.
there it is, my boy. The edict of mankind, written by the gods themselves.
Master Wu, can you speak celestial?
I can. Well, it's been some time, but
But Master Wu, what does it say?
he gives you he's like he tries to like read it. And he's like, I don't. He's like, give or take, it says this. He's like not quite up to snuff on his studies, but it talks about like building like prosperous settlements. It talks about like the light. It mentions Mathandis Feast. It's kind of like where Mathandis Feast comes from, as it talks about the holiday itself. And kind of like the celebration of like life and light and all that stuff and whatnot, but that's about it as far as he like remembers. And there's little bits he'll like read. He like can kind of read to you and whatnot, but he can't quite. He's it's been a long time since he's been studying his celestial.
His eyes are weary.
His eyes, yeah. So, but yeah, you can like feel the like reverence around it, like it like you can tell like it's radiating like a warm like sunny glow that almost like speaks to your soul just by being in like the vicinity of it and stuff. So there's nobles talking about it and people like paying homages and whatnot.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So what is my guy gonna do next? Is he gonna go try and find him, or can I like try and find out what's going on, like why there's the big feast, why so many people?
So that question is up to you. What would you like Connor to do? It's not for me to tell you at this point what you want to do.
I think what I want to do is go and like try and find out what's going on, but like kind of keep my eye out for him.
Yeah.
So, because like.
So you go asking around, kind of seeing what's up, and you kind of get the same idea that now your character would be caught up.
Yeah.
You find out that the king is in town, which is why this what seemingly looks like it's like the biggest township you've seen
Yeah.
in your life. Crestcall is, but it's flooded with more people than you even knew existed right now. But you find out that it's because the king of Kriegeland is here, and they're celebrating Mathandis. You know Mathandis Feast because that's celebrated even in Anderok by the normal human kingdoms or villages and stuff. So you know it's Mathandis Feast, and apparently there's a big celebration because the king's gonna announce some sort of like a tournament to declare the next Heroes of Kriegeland. Now the Heroes of Kriegeland is a story you would have heard because it's like a world-renowned type thing. So whether you followed them or like knew much about them or whatnot, you just know that there's like some sort of like content, like skill contest that is going to be like announced, and it has to do with like the celebration of Mathandis Feast, the coronation of like the new king. It's also the year 5400, so they're celebrating like a centennial mark on the calendar. So you can tell that this is like several celebrations and things all together, but generally speaking, it's just people are waiting for the king's announcement.
Okay.
To figure out the official word on it all. But there's a lot of hype, and you can see there's everywhere you look, there's potential would-be or like adventurer types or battle types and whatnot. So it looks like there's going to be some action soon, and so you're kind of you're interested in that.
Yeah.
Other than that, you have not spotted the Dark Elf again since you saw him, and he was staring you down. Like you caught him, you saw him just enough across the crowd, and then like someone walked by, and then he's just gone.
So good.
So he's so good, yeah. So yeah. So if there's anything that you guys want to do before the king's announcement, any other things, then speak now or forever hold your peace.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Fight.
trumpets blare, and there's a large. There's some recently constructed wooden stages and podiums near the food tents and centers. You and Master Wu are kind of like coming from where the noble district is. You're kind of like talking to people about like, ooh, who do we got? And like some people are like, oh, my buddy here, he's gonna take it. This guy's gonna take it all or whatnot, So the royal guard and a series of banner holders rally about the large wooden stage built up in the center of town. Trumpets blare and a hush begins to fall over the crowd as a small boy in an ill-fitting crown stands upon the highest podium. An elderly wizard in blue and red robes hobbles up next to the young king. He twiddles a few fingers, and a small sparkle enchants the boy with an amplified voice. On this, the day of Mathandis Feast, and the centennial of 5400, I, Alroy II, King of Kriegeland, hereby declare the official tournament of the Heroes of Kriegeland begin. And there's like a cheer. Everyone knows the story of the Heroes of Kriegeland, about the 3 brave adventurers that led the defense of Azure Gate against the Deepwater Kingdom. The same heroes that vanquished the corrupted Grand Priest that had gained control of the great and powerful Tide Rake. Lysander High Forest, noble archer of the elves of the great Ebonwood. Victor the Pure, holy knight of Mathandis, and Balerio Darkmoon, who he gestures to the old man behind him. Wizard of arcane mastery, the same Balerio, whose call to action has now reached your ears, as well as the crowd's. Kriegeland will one day need heroes, and we wish for the kingdom to revel in the knowledge of their protectors. And so, with commission of the crown, we shall have the contest magically displayed for all of Kriegeland to bear witness to their new champions. Behold, Balerio's finest work, the Arcane Engine! Trumpets start playing, and this machinery, known as the Arcane Engine, which is this giant kind of bronze and brass altar with like glass and wooden. It's built onto like a wooden platform. It's got like glass tubes and like brass and bronze tubes coming out of it that kind of build into the thing. It's got these like little metal twisted wire spires that end with like some sort of jewels or gems. And it now comes rolling in on a big, like a huge, lavish royal palanquin that's like pulled by a whole team of horses. And they pull it up to like in front of the stage where Valerio kind of starts chatting with mages and wizards and sorcerers next to him that seem to be like assistants. He starts dictating them to go into places, and they start casting spells that, like, you can tell, like, start activating part of this thing. He's kind of, like, dictating them. And then the king finishes his thing. Any would-be hero within the sound of my voice has until sundown to approach the arcane engine. Valerio will assign you a runic symbol that will allow you to enter into the portal. As he says that, the trumpets blare one more time, and the wizards finish their thing, and with right next to the arcane engine, a big pinkish, fiery, swirling portal opens up.
I lean over to the guy next to me like, I helped build that thing.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, you see all the mages doing things? It's all just for show. It's all automatic.
I should have known.
Yeah.
So you're saying the power of...
I hate those gems.
I should have known. Okay, so... and then you guys start to see every however many people here and there throughout the crowd, just low-level would-be adventurers start kind of trickling closer, checking things out, talking to their friends. Guy goes up, Valerio casts a little spell on him. They walk into the portal and disappear.
All right, I'm going to tell my noble friends, well, I'm going to go check in on my engine. I'll be back. So I go up.
Like, one of them is like, are you going to join? Are you joining the tournament?
I am the tournament.
They start betting. Okay. All right. So Braxton, as you approach, you go up to Valerio.
Yeah.
And he kind of like he's about to like just do the thing like like if you wish to. He has a really raspy like strained old man voice. He's like because he's like 90. If you wish to enter, Hey, you lady. Oh. And then he stops because he's like, you could tell he was just twiddling his fingers, casting his spell, sending people off. He was kind of like, but for you, he kind of lights up. He's like, are you a keeper of the arcade flame?
I have been blessed by Braxton himself.
Oh. And you see he's got like a Braxion like amulet on.
So
And he wears blue and red, which is like black Braxion
You're
colors.
part of the Brotherhood.
He's like, I've waited for this day. He's like, I always knew that my place would be, I would be replaced with someone else. Blessed by Braxion. Go. Go and win.
Oh, I assuredly will. Don't even worry about it. The arcane flows through my veins, and I do some prestidigitation to have some
like
purple
some
stuff.
some little fireworks shoot out of your
And
hands.
all the nobles behind me are
And a bunch of people, start cheering. Watch out for this one! Okay, you walk into the portal, and he vanishes. Connor?
Yeah.
I feel like I want to like walk up, but since I've never seen anything like that, I'll just be like super confused the whole time, and then he'll just like shove me through it.
Oh yeah, so he's like, are you here for the tournament?
And I'm just what?
You look capable. He kind of pushes on. You're like, what? And then like two guys just like, come on, just through here. Like, what? Okay, Helios.
Helios, he's a little timid. He's like, but Master Wu, will you be all right without me?
My boy. He puts his hand. He says, this is providence. You were meant for greater things than I could ever offer. It's time for you to go and spread your wings and fly.
But Master Wu, how can I win a fight tournament if I don't fight?
Technically, Maybe they never said there would be fighting, my boy. And something tells me you'll do fine. Listen to me. And he like puts his shoulders or his hands on your shoulders. He looks you right in the eye. Starts to tear up a little bit. I love you, my boy. You are meant for great things, and you will be fine. Do not worry about me. Worry about your own destiny.
Master Wu.
And then he gives you a big hug.
You're like a father to me.
Yes, because your drug-addled real father is an idiot.
Yes. Yes, he is.
I never told you this, but that time you punched him in the face made me very happy.
It made me happy at the time too, but
But
I went too far.
do not forget your gentle nature. It will be useful for you.
I will never forget, for I have no true enemies.
That is right. Only yourself.
Yes.
Go, my
All right.
boy. Do us proud.
I shall honor thee.
Okay. Helios goes. Gets his little blessing from, or his little magical tag from Valerio. Walks through the portal.
Into the goblet of fire.
And once you guys are out, once you guys are outside of the realm and can see this, then you see wizards and scries all over the realm all start popping up their little mystic balls, and sure enough, it shows you a vision of what's going to be happening within. So the whole kingdom is watching now. Braxton, you went first.
Sure did.
Yeah.
In the blank darkness of the void you stand. You can see yourself as plain as daylight, but all other details of existence are removed. You stand on a blank field of nothingness. Suddenly, a swirl of pinkish light rips into being, and a human steps through. An average-looking woman in her early 20s wearing leather armor, armed with a mace and shield. And then a female voice echoes out from the darkness and addresses you both, stating, "This is your partner. Please wait while your match is prepared."
So Mason Shields, all I know. Female.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and we'll have you. You can chat with her. Well, I mean, I guess you can.
Armored.
Leather armor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She kind of looks at you and it's just like, she looks like she's probably a low level cleric, if you could guess. She's got like holy symbol. That's probably the other. Right there. She's just like, "I'm Mary. Mary the cleric."
Mary
She's like,
the
but
cleric.
I'm only an apprentice, I admit. So, what can you do?
I am Braxton. Steel yourself, Mary. Do not worry. You are with me, with greatness itself. Listen, I am the arcane, and I will protect you. We will get through this, no problem.
She like roll a was that a persuasion? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
or it could be deception too, depending on how much you believe yourself.
I have what's called them both, so
Oh, you have
doesn't matter.
proficiency and a ton of charisma.
Yeah, so hopefully this works.
Yeah.
But
So it should be
You're gonna roll
+6
one.
total.
plus 6 total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, 20! She clanks on her shield and she's like, "I've never been more sure of anything in my life, Braxton."
That's how I live my entire life.
Okay, Connor. In the blank darkness of the void you stand. You can see yourself as plain as daylight, but all of the details of existence. So it's like you're in a weird dreamscape where it's like all black around you, but you like glow just fine, like you can see. Suddenly, a swirl of pinkish light rips into being, and a familiar dark elf steps through. He pulls both his daggers and stares at you with foul intent. But then a female voice echoes out into the darkness, addressing you both, stating, "This is your partner. Please wait while your match is prepared." So he gives you a side eye, flips his daggers back into his thing, goes like this, and then just stands silently, staring into the darkness.
I guess I'll have to go talk to him.
Yeah, he's standing right next to you. What do you want to say?
What are you doing here?
He doesn't say a thing, doesn't even look at you, just stares, arms crossed.
Do you want to win?
Doesn't look at you, but just nods.
Okay. I feel like we can win, but we're gonna have to work together at least a little bit. We can kill each other after, but
He nods again.
We killed you there.
Helios.
What a
You
gangster.
stand in the blink. The guy you're with, his name is literally dash dash dash. He has a vow of silence. He never speaks.
Ah. A lot
His
of
name
vows.
is Blink. Yeah, a lot of vows going on here. Helios, in the darkness you stand, you can see yourself plain as daylight. Suddenly, a swirl of pinkish light rips into being, and a human steps through. An average-looking man in his early 20s, wearing leather armor and armed with a mason shield and a holy symbol.
Yes.
Female voice calls out, "This is your partner. Please wait while your match is prepared." Hey there, friend, Giles.
Hello, I am Helios.
He's like, "You look like a pretty tough guy."
I know my way around.
He's like, "All right, good. Well, you he's like, I guess we'll just try our best, right?"
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't come into conflict.
Hopefully. What do you mean it doesn't? Aren't you expecting conflict?
Well, that's why I was very timid to approach this, but my master assured me that I would do fine. For you see, friend, I have taken a vow of no violence.
He like, we're boned.
Have no fear, my friend, for there will be a path, I am sure. Have faith.
All right, faith is what I've got. Okay, so just so you guys know, there are level 0 characters, there are level 1 characters, and there are level 2 characters that are entering this tournament.
You guys love 2 for sure.
Both of you are with a level 0 clear.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I love it.
Surprised randomly enough. I drew random, like, I made a little thing and drew that. So
All right, Mary.
you have a level 2 guy.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
So
So you're looking
we
good.
are gonna win.
And so, we wait.